Hello, I'm Henry Clerval. Welcome to Mind Zone. Our guests tonight are science fiction expert Dr. Sock, sci-fi author Mary Shelley, and Frankenstein's creation. So Mary, how do you think science fiction as a genre views humanity, positive or negative?
You see, Henry, many people believe that an author needs only a basic grasp of science to write sci-fi. That couldn't be more wrong. Science fiction authors need a firm grasp not only on science and technology, but humanitarian disciplines as well. Many science fiction novels are written to warn about the future or take a stance on humanity. My book, Frankenstein, casts a negative light on the ambitions of man and how we treat people that are different.
What do you mean by that?
Well, the story of Frankenstein's monster shows the recklessness of man when their judgment is clouded by ambition and glory. When Victor created the monster, he did not consider the consequences whatsoever.
Mr. Creation, how do you feel about being seen as just an experiment?
It's horrible, especially when I was young. I was alone in a world where I couldn't fit in. Victor's hunger for fame doomed me to a life of isolation. Of my creation and creator, I was absolutely ignorant, but I knew that I possessed no money, no friends, no kind of property. I was besides endued with a figure hideously deformed and loathsome. I was not even of the same nature as man.
Dr. Sock, what do you think of this?
Frankenstein is a great example of the way science fiction criticizes humanity. It shows monstrousness arises from the flaws of humans. It comes from inadequate control over one's actions, where someone creates something dangerously ugly and unexpected.
Mary, do you think people can learn a little more about morality while reading Frankenstein?
Of course. By reading this book, you can realize how what you do can affect others, and that even if you can do something, it doesn't mean that you should. Many cite Frankenstein as the antecedent of modern science fiction, as it was the first sci-fi novel to criticize the advancement of science. Like I said before, some scientists think too much about whether or not they can do something, that they forget to think if they should.
I certainly hope they can learn from the story, the death of Victor's family, and I show the risks that scientists take when they dare to usurp the divine prerogative of creation. Science fiction definitely shows the dark side of humanity and the ignorance of man.
Indubitably, Victor Frankenstein can be seen as an archetypal example of man destroyed by his own creation.
Cursed creator, why did I live? Why in that instant did I not extinguish the spark of existence which he had so wantonly bestowed? It was Victor's fault that I killed all those people. You can't just let a monster with the mind of an infant into the public. Science fiction warns us of the fatal flaws of humans.
Many sci-fi films of recent times use similar tactics to show the carelessness of humans. For example, the movie Godzilla showed the dangers of nuclear warfare as the monster was awoken by an atomic bomb. In the same series, Godzilla later has to fight a small monster that was created by corporations and factories producing waste. The purpose of science fiction is to warn and show danger, and the monster archetype can be a great way to display how our actions can lead to unforeseen consequences.
Interesting points, Mary. Dr. Sock, do you think that human morals have anything to do with the development of science fiction?
Morality has a lot to do with science fiction novels. It all comes down to moral sense, which is basically the ability to distinguish between right and wrong. Usually the main character of a science fiction novel, like Victor from Frankenstein, doesn't have this ability. This clouded judgment can be attributed to many things. In Victor's case, it was a rabid ambition and determination that caused his fatal error of releasing the creation.
Some may not know that the full title of Frankenstein is Frankenstein, the modern Prometheus. Prometheus was the Greek titan who created humans from the fire of Mount Olympus. In Frankenstein's context, the modern Prometheus is much like the original, but corrupted and turned sour by science.
What I hope people realize is that Victor's mistake was just that, an accident. He can be quoted as saying, "A fiend has snatched me from every hope of future happiness. No creature had ever been so miserable as I was. So frightful an event is single in the history of man." Victor did not know what could happen. This shows how science fiction doesn't blame the scientist's intent for the mistakes, but our ignorance.
Precisely. Victor once had it all: material possessions, knowledge, and most importantly, family and friends. That all went to waste when he decided to play God. Science fiction definitely presents a negative view on humanity. Take it from me, one of the genre's pioneers. I agree somewhat with that, but more accurately, I believe that Frankenstein's main focus is to explore whether or not a man is inherently good or evil. Was the creation driven to murder due to human nature or because of Victor's neglect? Science fiction explores the inherent evil of the human psyche.
I also agree. Science fiction shows how the ambition and carelessness of man, combined with the power of science, can create some awful scenarios.
看好兄弟们。
Alright then, that's all we have time for today. I'll see you tomorrow on the next episode of Mind Zone.